While the commuters brace for the worst, the mall operators prepare to cash in. Christmas is, of course, the most lucrative time of the year for brick-and-mortar shopping centers. But will this always be the case? Here to talk more is Dinbo Macaranas. He's the Senior Research Manager at Colliers Philippines. Dinbo, good to have you on the show again. Welcome. Pretty hefty report you guys gave me, and I want to kick off from where we left that package at. Malls, you say, remain an important part of the Filipino culture, and they won't die off like they are in the US. Do you see this trend continuing on even with traffic at the state that it is, with congestion the way it is right now?
Yes. If you look at it, Regina, well, first off, a lot of the online purchases are done with credit cards. And in the Philippines, adults' credit card penetration is just around 2 to 3%, and even their usage is also at around that same level, which means there's still a lot of activity in our malls. And then secondly, if you look at it also, if you compare us with the States and all these other more advanced countries, we don't have parks that families go to. So malls typically become an area where the families go to for leisure on weekends or whenever it is, especially on holidays.
So it becomes an all-in kind of thing. You go there to eat, to watch a movie, to basically browse around the shops.
Correct. And even right now, there are retailers who are implementing a complementary strategy between the brick as well as the clicks, or internet as well as the actual retail stores. And you see there are purchases done online, but you have consumers actually picking up the products in the retail stores themselves. So that's what we see happening here in the country.
Which means you see the relationship between brick and mortar stores, especially the big box malls, and the online platforms being complementary.
Correct.
And this is going to be the trend moving forward for the Philippines, you think?
Yes, I believe so. Well, there are a lot of factors that can drive or skew it in favor of online. One is your internet. The speed of your internet
I knew we were going to get to that.
Needs to improve. And at the rate we're going right now, it appears that, the retail stores are here to stay. And at the same time, as I mentioned, it's also an area where the families go to. And it becomes a leisure activity for all of the families.
Let me talk about another aspect of the retail landscape. President Duterte has ordered NEDA to push forward the to ease foreign investment restrictions on retail and move that order along more swiftly. That means they will have to open up the retail sector and bring down the foreign investment capital, for instance, the minimum foreign investment capital. How do you think that might change the retail landscape here?
Well, that will definitely allow more foreign retailers to come into the country. From the 2.5 million minimum, they're moving it down to 250,000 US dollars. That will really definitely benefit the retail sector, because right now, if you look at the mix of local and foreign tenants or retailers, in terms of the different industries or different sectors, you look at apparel, it's about a 50-50 split. You look at also sporting goods, 50-50 split. But there are areas where there's more tenants on the local or the foreign side. If you look at it, there's opportunity for foreign to come in.
Which specific opportunities are we talking?
You're looking at food and beverage as well as home furnishings, where it's skewed in favor of locals. But I think this is also an area where foreign retailers can come in and compete.
Home furnishing, because more people are moving into condominium units?
Yes, correct. That's an opportunity. You have more millennials also wanting a more designed living space, as it were, and families generally, especially in Metro Manila, are moving into condominiums.
Dinbo, lastly, since we're talking about condominium units, I took a look at your statistics for the residential market, and what we're seeing there, if I could just bring up that chart, is that vacancy rates in the key hubs across Metro Manila are actually edging up. Take a look at Makati and Fort. Not alarming rate of change at this stage, but what do you make of this?
Well, definitely, these are driven by the influx of supply that's coming in, not just in your major CBDs, but also in their fringe locations. And with more supply, you see your vacancies moving up. But generally, we still don't see an oversupply coming
I was just
up.
about to ask, are we very near to the point where the market's hitting oversupply already?
Not yet, Regina, because we look at other factors of the market in terms of the demand side. You look at take-up in 2016 reached about 42,000 condominium units. Now, if you look at household formation on average in the past 5 years in the country, about 67,000 households are built, or you have formed 67,000 households in Metro Manila. And as such, you see that disparity of around 42,000 and 67,000. So there's still enough room to take up more condominium units. And secondly, if you look at the average inventory life of condominiums here in Metro Manila, you're looking at an average
Inventory
of 1.2
life being
years.
the length of time
The
it
length
takes
of
for them
time
to be sold?
Yes, correct, to be sold. So you're looking at 1.2 years only. And remember that developers typically have construction periods of between 2 to 5 years, even 6 years at some point. So at the 2 years, 1 to 3 years range, I think we're still okay. And then lastly, if you look at it also, you have your you have price increases all across the market. Yes, some are performing better than others, but just this quarter alone, we're looking at a range of around 5% to as high as 26% price increase in certain projects. And if you look at that, you see a strong demand for condominiums, and it appears that the market is still far from any correction.
You sound incredibly bullish that there's not going to be an oversupply situation soon. And for that matter, we're not entering into forming a bubble inadvertently.
I don't think so.
We're going to have to leave it there. Dinbo Macaranas, Senior Research Manager at Colliers International. Thanks very much for your time today.
Thank you very much.